briefly going to go over some of these, some star rating changes. There's some added measures having to do with statin. I'm not going to necessarily read all this because you guys can read it. There's the BAPP has been removed and there's new display measures. Compared to past years, there's not much in the way of changes. What is important to note is while 4+ stars will continue to receive a bonus, anyone below that will not receive a bonus. And plans impacted by 2017 disasters are going to receive some special considerations. Additional and future changes, some additional and future changes. You can look these up later, so we don't need to go over them one by one. RAND is developing a technical expert panel of reps across stakeholder groups to obtain feedback on the star rating framework, the topic areas, and the methodology. While there's not a lot of STARS updates, there are ways to use quality measures to proactively outreach to engage members. And I think, Tom, you're going to go into a little more detail on that?
Yeah, so typically today, you know, we as an industry, we're mining for risk adjustment information, HCCs. We want to make sure members get assessed for their conditions so that we can ensure that our payments are in line with the care that's being provided. And where I think a shift can happen, that I think as an industry, as we move towards different data sources for payment, we can also be looking at a new way of identifying or prioritizing our work. And what I mean is that identifying members who may be qualified for a particular STAR measure or a HEDIS measure, and there's a gap in that care. So, you know, outreaching to a member to say, Mrs. Jones, you need to come in to have a mammogram is probably much better received than, Mrs. Jones, we need to get you in to assess your COPD. So at the time that the member comes in, of course, you're going to assess the COPD, but the outreach to the member really makes the member feel like somebody is looking out for them. So you know, we want to come up with ways where we can engage members. You know, we understand that some members are reluctant to go into the doctor, but coming from a point of, I want to make sure that, you know, you get all the screenings you need, or you're performing the tests that are necessary to ensure that the quality of care is where it's supposed to be. You can also assess ACCs at the same time. So it's just a little bit of a mind shift. And you know, in the little pictorial that we have here, you know, you can create specific messages for members, because this is a really great way to reach out to members, you know, communicate with them, and then look at the list at the end. You start with your HEDIS measures first, it overlaps into STARS, and of course in ACCs is what we wrap it up with. So just a little different perspective on how we may want to look at doing our focus for risk adjustment.
And just as an aside, Tom and I have both come from both the plan and provider side. And when it was our task, actually it was Tom's task, to pursue closing, I think they're called administrative measures for HEDIS. In doing that, of course, the HEDIS scores went up, but the risk scores went up. And then when we were pursuing data for risk adjustment, the HEDIS scores went up. And we had auditors on both sides of the house saying, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? And, you know, this was when risk was in its infancy. And so I think it just goes to show you that all data, as robust as possible, can help your quality programs and your reimbursement programs. So, you know, combining them and only having the member have to come in one time is better all around for everyone, and it's a more efficient use of resources.